Well, hello there, Blade fans. What have we got going on here today? 12, a dozen knives on the table once again. I know many of you enjoyed past reviews of multiple fixed blades. OG Blade reviews with you, by the way. We're going to attempt it again today, although shuffling 12 knives around the table is a bit of a challenge for me, and I hope to get all the names right, but why do this? Well, these are small but potent EDC slash tactical knives. That's what we're going to call them, EDC slash tactical. You can use them every day for lots of cutting chores. They're obviously more secure, more stable, don't have to worry about back wax and folding on your fingers and so forth, as long as you can hold it in your hand. Fixed blades, right? Not hinged blades, not folding blades, fixed blades. Okay, you got my point. Bad knife joke. All right. These are the ones that I feel are most usable by just dropping them into the pocket. Don't have a lot of them with clips on them today, but that's certainly an option. The range in pricing is going to be mostly of a budget level, below 100, but there's going to be a few, such as TKELL and at least one other, that are going to be over the $100 mark. And some I bought a year or more ago at maybe a better price than you can get them today. So a lot of variables, but I'm just going to start, and I'm going to start with the one that I think many of you feel is kind of the standard for the small knife when it was put out like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, it is the Spyderco Street Beat, little brother of the Spyderco Street Bowie, or Bowie, you guys in the South. Yes, Jim Bowie. It is a Fred Perrin design, and it is a real popular knife. It's got an excellent point. Some of the things we're going to be talking about today is the point on line? Is it a stabby knife, so to speak? Can you still cut with it? That's why I don't have double-edged knives on the table today. They're going to be the daggers. Double-edged knives are going to be a separate thing. Specialty knives like TKELL, they're going to be a separate thing. These are all general purpose EDC tactical knives that you can drop in your pocket because they're short enough. All right. And the length on what we can drop in the pocket, well, if we use this as a standard, we are talking about around a 7-inch overall length knife. That's sort of the standard. Much longer than that, and they may not drop in the pocket well. But again, how deep are your pockets? It used to be the expression about money, right? But with knives, it's can you drop that knife in your pocket and will it disappear? Can you get it out easily and thumb off the sheath? Or do you need a static line or some such thing? One of the things about, and I can't spend a whole lot of time on 12 knives with one extra, making it 13, by the way, a baker's dozen, right? One thing is this, a lot of complaints about Spyderco sheaths because they're pancake sheaths. You got grommets on both sides, which is an advantage, but they're generally a wider, kind of clunkier sheath. Some people like them that way. You shove it in the waistband and you got a lot of stability. Anyway, getting back to the knife, because the sheaths are kind of secondary today. You're going to see this in a few of the knives today. A forward finger choil that's actually part of the knife, so maybe not a choil technically, but a groove, finger groove that basically gives you a guard, all right? And a forward belly on this particular knife that gives you some nice slicing capabilities while still having a long clip point. Okay, we may get back to this knife for reference, but let's put it over on the side for now. And I'm going to be getting rid of the sheaths as we go and just dropping them in a box over there. I'm just going to randomly go through them, okay? This is the Bastinelli Aaron La Sanction, and he just calls it the Akeron lately. This is a Bastinelli designed knife, very small, not very well known, but I checked and they're still available for about 160 bucks. So you know that you're not going to usually get any Bastinellis for under 100 bucks, you know, maybe rarely some little item, but generally over 100, well over 100. I picked it because it's small, because it sort of follows his Sachs design, but with a maybe a little shorter clip. It is both piercy, and I'm going to use my hand where necessary so you can see things with the confusing background there. It's got a really beautiful micarta handle. Overall, it is well under that 7 inches. Some of these are going to be over the 7 inches, but it's well under, yeah, it's like 5 3/4 inches. It's a real shorty, real shorty. I'm going to put the ruler over there. 3-finger knife, okay? Pretty much just a 3-finger knife. Maybe you can squeeze the 4th finger. It'll work in piqual. A lot of these knives will work in piqual, but they won't have an edge in because they're single-edged knives. Look at that long run of jimping and the jimping on the handle. Bastinelli tends to do that. This is made by Fox in Italy. His knives are generally made by either Fox or Lion Steel, or I believe he's using, and you know the maker, but they're in Texas. I'll think of it later. But some of the newer knives are being made in the U.S., which is really cool. But a handy little knife, not only for tactical purposes, but really great for EDC, and a useful point. Fairly high grind. N690 on this one, I believe. And I don't know what it was on the Spyderco. Made in Japan, by the way, on this Spyderco Street Beat. Could be 8CR, could be, what could it be? Yeah, I should have looked it up. Anyway, they're made in Taiwan now, I think, and not Japan. But that is the Bastinelli Akeron. I'm going to leave that guy out there. We'll fit him in somewhere, guys. Don't worry about it. Here's a brand new design, and what you're seeing here today is a mixture of ones which have become available in 2025. This is the Sokn. Are they soaking up your money? I think it's about 100 bucks or so. Maybe it's a bit under, from Civivi. It is a design by VTAC. VTAC is, what is that guy's name? I'll get it for you right now. It is a Kyle Lamb design. I have a very large fixed blade from Tops that is designed by Kyle. Kyle's got a lot of experience in both military, special ops, I believe, as well as designing knives for both outdoors in general or tactical use. It has what he likes to call the lamb's pommel or lamb chop. I forget. He makes a joke about it. But you got that big old leg that goes out there on the pommel, which is designed to pull it out. Why does it have a clip on the handle? Well, first of all, guys, it's removable, okay? This was designed as an EDC tactical knife. It's got a EDC style blade, very sort of utilitarian, straight back, maybe drop point blade. There's his logo, VTAC. And this is something we've seen on other knife sheaths, this little hook here. What it is designed to do is when you put this in the pocket, you can stabilize it with a clip. You can put the clip, by the way, also on the left side. The clip is also multi-position, so you can lower it or raise it to have it go deeper or higher in the pocket. It's got lashing rivets here, lashing holes. Got a nice swale there for your palm swell rather. You can thumb it off easy enough, so that's cool. and you don't need to use it with the clip on there. You can remove that clip, switch it to the other side, move it up and down around. But the idea is that that goes down in your pocket. And as you pull it out of your pocket, you don't have to dig around and reach for the knife. You pull it out. What I notice is the little hook that they do for the wave opening, I never hit it. I always hit this portion right in here on my pocket. So one thing you have to watch out is as that's coming out, that you're not slicing your pocket open. You can, however, there goes the sheath in the box, by the way. You can, however, simply remove the clip and drop the knife in your pocket. But it's a small knife, and I'm keeping the ruler around here for a reason. It is a small knife. Well, look at that. It's just a bit over 7 inches, so a little longer than I thought. It is a full 4-fingered handle. Now, this handle also works extremely well with that design in mind to place your thumb there and use it in TKELL. Or you can come up even further and get your thumb around there, because I find this, you see, for me, that angle for TKELL is not that good, because it means if I'm going this direction, I'm not going to hit with that point. So, you know, you can come up all around here. No inner edge when you do it that way, but it is a jabby, stabby knife if you do it that way. Feels pretty good in the hand. Steel on this guy, I think, is Nitro V. We may or may not find it here. Civivi's been doing a lot of Nitro V, and there it is. God almighty, could they make it tinier? Yeah, Nitro V. So a good, decent stainless steel that Civivi and others are using a lot of these days, as they feel a bump up from 14C, but a lot of guys like 14C instead. And put that right over there. That's the Sokn Sokin. And since I tapped on this guy, we have another, well, no, it's not a Civivi design. What am I talking about? It's Tenable, the budget company of concept. And this little interesting guy here is called, I told you I have to look at my notes, because I got a list of 12 here. Where is it now? Okay. Well, I'll find it. It is the, come on, Tenable Par. I know we got a Sokin of 4 letters and Par of 4 letters. That's what my little brain was thinking. So the Par, and this guy is designed by Jonathan Sykes. They actually put his name on the blade. That's who I was thinking of on the VTEC, but that's Kyle Lamb, and this is Jonathan Sykes. Has designed a lot of knives for Kaiser. Okay. So again, we have barely a 4-finger knife, but they let you choke up a little bit, but it's not a real choil area there. I mean, you can sort of get up in there. I'm not sure the meaning of that. I guess, you know, if you do it this way and pinch it, you're good. But if you just get a full grip on the knife, your pinky's sort of falling off if you got a medium-large hand like mine. We got kind of a reverse tanto, if you want to call it that. Yes, reverse tanto. Clip point, sheep's foot sort of thing going on, if you want to call it that. Doesn't matter what you call it. Didn't Shakespeare say a rose by any other name would smell as sweet? Sure. A knife by any other name would cut as well, perhaps. Could give it a dozen names. Nice G10 handle. This is a very small knife. Let's see if I'm lying this time. Of 6 1/4 inches. And, you know, the blade on them, you're going to see that, but there's individual reviews. It's a 3-inch blade. So how is it next to the Sokin? It is a good deal shorter by like over an inch. And I didn't think of the Sokin as that large a knife. This is really small, but really convenient, and it's been super popular lately because this particular model in the copper, sort of gold copper finish, not sure what they're using for a coating, with the kind of shadow box handle going on there. It's been really popular, particularly in this color. So, I like to hold a knife with my thumb there. It sort of guides too. You can close the thumb or open the thumb. In the Filipino knife arts, the thumb is used a lot for gauging. So I'd bring that back and it would hit my body. And if it was a double-edged knife, it would register where the knife is so I wouldn't cut myself if I pull that all the way back near me. On this one, of course, you don't have to worry because it is a single-edged knife. By the way, this review is going to run long, so I'm sure a lot of guys are skipping around to get to the knife that they're interested in. That's fine. It has to be long because we got a lot of knives, and I don't want to just brush them all off. I want to be able to give you a little bit of exposure to them. But that is the Tenable Par, P-A-R-R. One of my favorite knives since I was introduced to it, and this was provided by Vosteed, is the Mink. This really is a sleeper. It gets overlooked. The knife is nearly perfect. It doesn't look like anything really special, but the size is right. They did a great job here with the forward finger groove. It's a full 4-finger knife for me. If you got big old hands, it may not be for you. You may find the pinky creeping off there. But, I've done weight reduction in the hands because I'm old. So not a lot of fat to spare on the hands anyway. Midsection's another matter. But there's Vosteed, and this one also is in Nitro V, clearly labeled. It's got a bead blast finish, kind of a stonewash bead blast sort of thing going on. Mainly it's bead blast. Got 2 rows of jimping, so if you want to put the 4-finger out there, you can. However, to get the point in action, you nearly need to go 90 degrees. We'll consider that to be kind of a drop point blade, almost a straight spine blade, however. They come through very sharp. And the one thing I was going to do is offer up a little piercing here as a test. This one maybe not so much as a piercer, but definitely as a slicer. It works very, very well. And I got my foam block here. Probably get to use this more. This is this real dense mil-spec foam. I bought a bunch of it for cases and so forth, and this is a scrap. But not bad as a piercer. How about the Tenable Par? Fairly good. What happens with a lot of these knives with this bump on the top as a result of the clipping of the blade, it becomes a stop. Now, in flesh, I'm not sure that's really going to be too much of an obstacle. When you have material removed above the point and you don't add it in, look at that. You get a little better piercing effect. Sorry, I don't have a roast. I don't have a pork roast to show you on. Maybe one day we'll get into all that messy stuff. But if you're looking for a great all-arounder that will drop in the pocket and really secure, beautiful Kydex sheath, you can thumb it off really easily. Any of these knives, you can take a piece of paracord, loop it through the grommets on the sheath, drop the knife in your pocket, the other end of the cord, called a static cord, you wrap around your belt and just pull the whole thing out of your pocket. When it hits that static cord, then that sheath comes right off. That is the Vastid Mink. Let's put some more sheaths away here. Here's a real interesting knife. This is called the Spartan Enyo. It's spelled E-N-Y-O. Spartan Blades. It's a skeletonized knife. They make an upper end version in high-end steel, higher end steel, and they make this budget model, which is in, couldn't even tell you. Oh, here it is. Os 8A. Okay. So you're going to say, Os 8A, I don't want that. Well, it depends upon how often you're going to use it. If you're using that blade a lot and you don't like the edge holding capability or inability, then get the higher end one. But this was under $100. Think about 70, 80 bucks. Very unique sheath. Talking about pocket fixed blades. Look at this. That's a little switch that locks a knife in. Knife goes in, real easy clicks. So you're not relying on Kydex. This is a molded sheath. You're not relying on Kydex fit to have a tight grip on the knife. And it comes off extremely easily, but still locks in really, really well. It's a great idea for a knife sheath, probably patented, but I'd like to see some more makers using that. Of course, it's going to rely on maybe a certain shaped blade. Here we have almost a bayonet sort of blade, spear sort of blade with that harpoon look on the top there. Doesn't weigh much at all. Comes with this little lanyard and the bead. Really feels good in the hand. And it is 6 1/4 with a blade actual looking at the edge, 2 3/4 on the sharpened edge. Fairly thick stock. So a robust knife. You could pry with that if you had to. Look at the point. Really substantial point on that small knife. And it should be a piercer. Let's see. Right on the side you can see. Yeah, I mean, pretty good, pretty good. You can sort of tell the piercing points, which ones are going to be better than the other. That's the Enyo. I think the term comes from the Greek or Romans. I'm not sure. Enyo. You can look that one up. There's a review on that guy. There's a review on them all. Here's one that you may not know about. This is a tops knife called the Lioness. And sorry, guys, if you don't like feminine names and you're taking those red pills, you don't like a knife that says a girly name, a lion girly name on the left side. Whatever. Come on. Will it work? Certainly. It's an interesting design. This is in the usual tops 1095, I believe, with what they call their acid rain wash on the surface, that gray kind of stonewash look. Excellent ergonomic feeling handle. Not sure I really like that big old protrusion there for the lanyard. They came out with a knife, and I can't remember the name, where all they did was take this model and sharpen this edge and made a TKELL knife out of it. So it's perfect for TKELL, except for this. And they didn't remove that. If they had removed that or extended the handle just a little bit and put the micarta out a little further, would have been great. Again, you got a built-in guard like so many of the others. Feels really good. This oval shaped handle with the palm swell just fits perfectly in the palm, even of a larger hand. Now, I'm not saying I got giant hands, but I got a medium large hand, about 4.5 inches across. And this is just a neat knife. I believe they're still making them, tops, Lioness. If you want the reverse edge model, they actually do a black handle on there, and they didn't put Lioness on it. Comes with a bit of a pretty good sheath with a wonky clip that I would take off immediately. I haven't done that yet. It's one of their clips that turn with like a rubber washer underneath there. Stands pretty high off the sheath, but the sheaths themselves from tops are really excellent. And look at how thick the Kydex is. So great sheath. Just take that sucker off there. And again, I believe you can, because there is there's a Phillips head screw underneath. I'd remove that, and then if you needed a clip, I would just put a DCC clip or a Ulti clip or something like that on there. That is the tops Lioness, real sleeper again, one you may not have heard of. Let's go right up here to the Crev Coeur. number 9, I believe it is, from Station 9. Wow, Station 9, they are just doing some excellent tactical knives. And problem with it is that, yes, you can sort of use that thumb ramp. You got to really dig your thumb in there. They could have done a little better with that as far as a pocket knife, pocket fixed blade goes. Could you hook it on your pocket here? Yeah, there's plenty there. But again, you may risk, on the draw, you may risk cutting your pocket. Not the worst thing that can happen, better than you being cut in a tense situation, right? But it's a good candidate for the static line as well. This is another really great feeling knife. It's going to be on the longer side, and I hesitated putting it in here because it's an 8-inch overall knife. So that may fit in some pockets, but not in others. I put this shrink wrap on here that you can get through Amazon. They use it for fishing poles and, you know, garden handles and so on and so forth. It's just a shrink tube with a nice grippy texture on there that you put over it, heat gun it. It shrinks down tight, and it's kind of a nice substitute for using Ranger bands or what have you. They got lashing holes here if you choose to use them. Basically looks like, you know, a steak knife kind of a situation with a swedge here. The steel they're using on this, I believe, is VG10. I don't think they put steel on any of their knives, but there's the logo. Again, we got that beautiful pear-shaped kind of oval handle that fits right up in the palm there. You got some excellent jimping and a straight spine with a very piercy point. I mean, this guy's probably the pierciest of them all so far, because you got that narrow Kaiken sort of James Williams-ish kind of point on there, even though it isn't Japanese design. But I mean, this sucker will slip right through. Not all of the Station 9 knives come through with an excellent edge, but I put an excellent edge on it. Yes, I did. My little Work Sharp Precision Adjust Pro, excellent sharpener. Got lots of room to clamp that sharpener on the spine here, and it did extremely well. Widened out the bevel a little bit, lowered the grind, and it's just screaming bitey sharp right now. Didn't take too much of the point down either. It's a fairly fine point on this, but again, you know, for $70, I think it's a great deal. They charge $10 shipping. I feel it might be a little much, but yeah, I guess it's reasonable for a lower price knife. The Crev Coeur means broken heart in French. See, I remember that much from French in high school. Here's one that's going to be a little pricier. This is going to be up there around 200, maybe a little bit more. I can't recall. This is the Osoraku Zukuri Mini Kaiken by Williams, made by Lion Steel. This is a Sleipner steel. They make a 4.5-inch version now out of MagnaCut for not much more than this one. And it is a little bit under a 4-inch blade, and it is coming in at 7.5 inches. So not the 6-inch mark, not the 7-inch mark. I think 7-inch was what we were going for. So just a bit longer than that. Universal neutral handle. Really a great handle. Those of you worried about slipping forward without a guard, just check out one of many James Williams demo videos on YouTube where he punches this through sheet metal, car doors, plywood, what have you, this style blade, the Osoraku Zukuri style blade, where you've got kind of a different take on the so-called American Tanto, but again, a very piercy point. This might be the pierciest even more than the Crev Coeur. It's a little thicker stock, and I think that plays in many times too, but very, very piercy point. You can see that. Really piercy. It's another one that I did my little sharpening magic on. Again, I think what I'm noticing is that between this and the Crev Coeur, we have thinner stock here. But yeah, a fair amount. You can see that. But still a Piercy blade. The key with the Japanese style guardless knives is to palm the pommel and follow the line of the forearm. And you'll see James Williams demo that many different places. We have an encapsulated tang, goes all the way through. You can see it there. You can see it shining through. So that's a full tang, but the micarta, black micarta, encapsulates it. 3 rivets here, or screws, with this one called the Emperor node, because you can feel it, so you know where the edge is. Excellent knife for picot without any adjustments other than rolling it into position. And look at that. I mean, really, really nice. And here you've got the added reinforcement of the thumb. Japanese inspired. And check out Williams' offerings. Some great stuff. See if I can get these all up there in line. Wow, we're coming down there. Coming down there. Here we are like an hour later or whatever. This is brand new, and this was a pre-release prototype sent to me by Dirk Pinkerton. This is his design for Tenable. It is the driver ant, or Siafu design. We do have a great provision here for thumbing it off. Pretty good, I would say. So you can leave it in the pocket, thumb it off, and pull the knife out. It's a bit short for some of you. It's definitely a 3-finger knife with a 4th fitting on that little angle to the rear. Really nice jimping. And yep, that's his standard Warncliffe, or you could call it sheep's foot blade design that Dirk likes so much. You see it on the Street Beat, not the Street Beat, the Main Street by Concept and by Tenable. Tenable, again, is the budget line of Concept. And we've got that beautiful oval blade shape here. I believe the other person that received a demo copy is Bob DeMarco, the Knife Junkie. You can check out his review on this knife as well. But yeah, really perfect EDC knife. That point is very useful. You got a fair amount of point there, and it's a fairly thin stock, so it is Piercy. Again, maybe not as Piercy as something like the Crev Coeur, but definitely one that you can cut with. Look at that. I mean, no effort to cut with this knife. So your slashes are going to be a lot with the point, as opposed to having a big belly here. But this comes through very, very sharp. I believe these are now available and have been released by Tenable. Check it out. Great option for a short little fixed blade pocket carry. And we'll give that an overall look. That's 5 3/4. So that is a shorty, and that should drop in the pocket with ease, or you can mount it on your belt, inside the waistband, what have you. All right, moving on. I was just made aware of this company, which is Berserk Blades from Germany. This is the smallest of 3 sizes, with the largest being like a big kitchen knife size, all with the same blade. And this is called the RAK. Let's see what it's called. I believe it's called the RAK. Their names come from where are you? I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, Berserk Blades Rack, RAK. Sorry, guys. VG10 on this one, as far as I know. If you look up a lot of your steels like 14C and AEBL and Nitro V and VG10 and all of those. So N690, N690, whatever. They all have the 440C as a base, 440C stainless. They all started there when they add a little bit of an element here, a little bit of an element there. I'm not a metallurgist, but anyway, don't poo-hoo the steels on these knives because they're not ones that you're going to be able to do so many paper cuts with and cardboard cuts and rope cuts and so forth. Learn to sharpen your knife and you'll be fine. Fairly thin blade there. Is this Piercy? Quite a bit, because you got a little bit longer clip there than you do on, wow, cuts nice too. It came through with a nice edge. Nice sheath, easy to thumb it off. You may find it's a little too easy, but not bad. Comes with a chain, hang it from your neck if you wish. But again, a comparison here. They've got about the same angle. No, it's a little steeper angle. Yeah, a little lower angle on that point than the Siafu. All right. And notice once again, we've got the big finger cut out. Don't call it a choil if you want to. I won't. I'll call it a choil for the most part because it takes in part of the blade and part of the handle. And that's kind of the Fred Perrin influence there that you see on the Street Beat. Right? Yep. Same thing. Just bigger cutout here. So if you got big fingers, you'll fit 3 fingers easily on this knife and maybe even a 4th. And it will easily also go into TKELL. Although, once again, we don't have the edge in. These knives are pretty awkward to hold this way, but you could if you had to. All right. That is the Berserk Blades Rack, RAK. I will provide you the links to find each one of these knives. We get to our last one of the dozen, and this was, kind of a shoe-in, but, way above the price point of the rest of these, coming in, I think, around $250-ish, TKELL Adversary. And this was sent to me for review a while back by Tim. And I got to tell you, if you want a higher end EDC tactical knife, this has got to be it. This is a classic Wharncliffe blade shape with that full rounded down back spine to the point. Very Piercy point. How Piercy is it? It's pretty Piercy. And with that nickel boron coating on his blades, even though this is AEBL, so that's a stainless steel, but he puts nickel boron on all his knives, but much, much thicker spine. So if you I think I reached my maximum clip time on that last one, so forgive me. We will, it automatically stopped recording. That's the way the camera works. I think I get 30 minutes, so probably going to be about an hour video, guys. What can I tell you? That is the Adversary. Definitely one to check out if you want to spend the money and you want a quality, part handmade, part production made knife. Tim just keeps banging out the designs. I mean, just crazy stuff. Check out the Agent series as well. I could have included that. How long is this overall? If I missed a few, forgive me, but I'm trying to not be here forever. 7-inch blade, or 7-inch overall, with a cutting edge of like 3 1/8. It's just confidence inspiring. It's one of the few here with finger grooves, but that's going to really keep your hand on there and can be used in TKELL. Although, again, no cutting edge. Could you roll it? Yes, you can. Just doesn't feel really great. All right. I saved one that's not on the table, but over on the side here. This is a custom knife because I didn't want to use any custom knives today or show any custom knives. This is AB Knives 302, or AB stands for Aaron Bieber, Bieber. You'll have the link. The reason I brought this out is it is just a tremendous small knife. that will fit in the pocket. And although it's custom and would cost you about $300, it's just 7 1/8 overall, very small knife. But Boker has picked up the design and will be turning out an excellent copy, production copy. Don't know what it's going to cost. Keep your eyes open, but it's going to cost way less than the custom. And this is Tsukamaki wrapped, hand wrapped with ray skin underneath. And then epoxied over. He uses something that's not epoxy but works like it. Just incredible. This particular finish is called his deep finish. It's kind of this triple double stonewashed thing going on with like a carbon sort of powder coat or whatnot. I'm not sure what he uses. Sorry, guys. Got a hollow swedge. I don't see too many hollow swedges. You can barely see it, but that swedge is not flat. It's hollow. Comes through screaming sharp. This one's from Magna Cut. His Magna Cut on the customs, he says, goes up to about 64, maybe 65. Really great in the hand. And the production ones from Boker are going to be wrapped. I don't know how they're doing it, but it looked almost exactly. It looked almost like the wrap on this knife. I couldn't tell the difference. There's only a quick shot that Aaron sent out around the Atlanta Blade Show, but I'm really waiting for those to drop. I will pick one up myself. But that's why this guy, being a custom, is out on the table, because it's going to be a production knife quite soon. And I stuffed them all in there. For those that are skipping around, it's a smart thing to do, but if you watch the whole thing, God bless. And I will be back soon. Hope you enjoyed this revision of my pocket carry EDC fixed blades. Be well, take care. Click on that logo right now and you can be directed to subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Be well, stay safe, take care.